So today we're going to take a look at a scenario where civilization starts over. We're now on episode 14 of the series, and in the last episode we saw North China have a few breakaways and the complete collapse of South China, dividing up into 4 new countries, and whatever is left is turned into a new country / government thing or whatever. And we also saw a Russian revolution happen that basically just old government, new government, and awkward silence. But first, we gotta have our daily Japan update because it's the daily Japan update. And for our daily Japan update, this crimsonish country decides, you know what? I'm just gonna declare war on the entirety of Hokkaido. Very dumb move because you're stopped, and you're like, wait, why am I getting stopped? This doesn't make any sense. I am more powerful than you guys, and then you get pushed back again, and then yeah. So that country just falls immediately to literally no one's surprise. And in this peace treaty we can see red team get this, purple team get that, and green team get this and that and that. So yeah, that's basically it for our daily Japan update. So yeah, no more daily Japan's updates till next week. So next up we are gonna see the North China. I'm just gonna call North China China since South China is no longer a thing. And I'm just gonna call this China. So China decides to expand and more or up here or into like Mongolia-ish areas, and they get about to where they've explored, and then Korea is like, hello, I'm gonna stop you, and they basically just do this and just say, this will definitely stop you from getting at us. So yeah, there's nothing you can do to stop this. And then China's like, alright, bet. And they set up like a fort over here, and they decide to connect to it like this. And then Korea is like, oh yeah, I have a fort here. Can you maybe let us connect to that? And China is like, no. And they just keep exploring, not exploring, expanding. And Korea's like, alright, since you're gonna do that, then we are gonna do this. Haha. You connect to your thing, and I connected to my thing. Win-win for both sides, right? And then China is like, no. And they decide to like set up things over here to block Korea. And Korea is like, yo, no. And this border ends up even more disgusting than it already is. And China's like, fudge you. And they just keep going. And they keep going. They keep going. And Korea decides to set up an outpost over here to check up on China. No, they have this border, but Koreans will be Koreans. and they decide to set up some more things up here. And Siberia, they want to get into this, but they can't because they have a treaty enforcement by Korea that they can't expand into Siberia. So yeah, and then China just does that, and Korea's like, all right, let's just draw in borders for this so things don't get too complicated. Deal? And China's like, alright, deal. Let's take a look at what these brand new disgusting borders are gonna look like. And in this treaty, we can see that, oh boy, these borders are disgusting. Please get this out of my face. I never want to look at this again. Well, I'm gonna be forced to look at this sometimes because I'm not ending this series at episode 14. That would just be stupid. So yeah, you guys are probably gonna have to get used to this while having an eyesore. So sorry about that, but sometimes there just has to be disgusting borders. Next up, we see two small countries decide to come on and show their face across the world. Basically, just deciding to get away from it and see if they can do a better job at governing in the countries they were in. And if they are next to the country, that means they are from that country. And I was seeing this, there's gonna be like an agreement to who gets what inside of Tibet. Now let's see what that agreement is gonna look like. And in the Treaty of Tibet, we could see a whole lot of lines here. First of all, the brand new countries is first. The coral team, they get all of this. And the orange team, they get all of this. And now, that's it for the new countries. Now for the powers, the lime team, they get these lands, and Azerbaijan gets these lands. And now for the mildly powers, there's the Indians, they get all of this, and Bangladesh, they get all of this. And now it's time for the two Tibetan countries, I mean Xinjiang countries. The dark purple one, they get this, and the lavender one, they get all of this. And now the two leftovers, the brown and then the yellow team, they get this, and the brown team, they get all of this. And now Tibet is officially filled in, and so now the world map is easier on the eyes, except this conglomeration over here. Next up, an interesting event just happened in the African Union. A new leader got selected, and this leader promised to unite all of Africa. And when I mean all of Africa, I mean all of Africa. And 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 any African country, including the red team, rightfully is terrified of this because the African Union is pretty strong, probably in the top 10 of most powerful countries in my WICSO. And the first move they are going to do is start to invade this brand new country that bursted out from the red team, and they siege the capital and annex all of it. And I do mean annexing all of it. They integrate this into the African Federation, and immediately. And I'm too lazy to remove the capitals, so just pretend and the capitals are not there. Hmm. Oh, what's this? Okay, I fixed it. Next up, they are going to invade this limeish green sort of country, and they decide to make three fronts over in this country, and they siege the capital, and this country uh, capitulates to the African Union. And you can probably guess what happens to this country. Boom. Oh, that's still not good. And now this oral team is on the chopping block. They decide. Sorry if my keyboard is making noises. They now push into this coral country, focusing mostly on the coastal areas. And yeah, this coral team had no chance. And it's basically, yeah, not good for them at all. This is very anticlimactic. Like now I see it. And now all of these countries have been assimilated into the African Union. And some countries decide to do something about this and form a coalition against the African Union, specifically Egypt, the Red Team, and the French Union. They are done with the African Union. Ah, and the African Union decides, you know what? Screw it. Let's invade Sicily and Sardinia. And that's what they do. They wrong color. Or they land on Sardinia and Sicily, capturing both of the capitals with ease, capitulating all of Sicily. And the same fate goes for the yellow team. And the African Union decides to keep going as they push troops into the pink team, and the pink team is basically just didn't have enough time to set up an army, so they're gone. And the green team is heavily weakened, so yeah, they are pretty much gone as well. Uh, um, and just like I said before, whoa, the African Union annexes all of the conquered lands. And Egypt is preparing to go to war, but the African Union is already before that, and yeah, it's not doing so good for Egypt, and same with the Red Iberians. They are getting whooped in this war, and then French Union and troops start flooding in, and they manage to stop the advancements. Oh, and for some reason the leaders decided, you know what, I'm just gonna annex these lands. And nobody knows why he did that till this day. Meanwhile, African Union troops start to enter into the French Union, ignore the tolerance being wacky. As I was saying, African Union troops start to enter into French Union lands, and they also just decide to invade Slovenia as well. They want full control over the Italian peninsula, and they need Slovenia to do that. And they decided to attack Croatia. Yeah, this leader isn't very smart now, is he? But he makes a landing over on the purple team, mm, and he decides to invade into Greece and capture the capital. And Greece surrenders over to the African Union. And this is not good for the coalition because the African Union is somehow beating them. Looks like the African Union has a great military general with a really stupid leader. And and then the African Union and pushes into Thrace and sieges all of it, and they invade into Bulgaria, and they siege all of it. And the African Union continues with annexing the countries they conquer. So, yeah. All of this is now African Union land. And everyone and their moms are like, okay, African Union, stop. Stop it, please. Can you stop this? You're gonna get whooped out pretty soon, so just stop it. And then the Lime team, the strongest country in the world, decides to intervene in this. And yeah, it's basically over for the African Union at this point. Ugh. F in the chat for the African Union. They conquered a lot of land, but in the end it was all in vain. Although Egypt is not proud of having to use the Line Team's assistance in this, they will accept this because they are not idiots. And with this new wave of Line Team troops, they managed to push back the Africans from Egypt, and they basically just, yeah. And you want to know how to make things even worse? This. Egypt is making steady gains against the African Union, who they thought they had good relations until 2 seconds ago. Well, it's not 2 seconds ago, it's more like 1 year ago. Oops. Oh. So yeah, the African Union ain't looking so hot. Egypt decides to focus in on the coastline to cripple the African Union's economy. The French Union manages to fully push out the African Union from their territory, and they now start pushing into the African Union itself, making steady gains throughout the Italian peninsula. Also making a landing on Corsica and pretty much liberating the yellow team, but I'm too lazy to actually put in the color back. And they siege all of the Italian peninsula. Oh, and they also liberate all of these areas from Slovenia, but I'm too lazy to get in the color right. They liberate Sicily, and they make a landing on Tunisia. Meanwhile, the red team manages to break through on this front and fully kick out the African Union from the peninsula, and they managed to retake all of their African land, and now the red team is pushing into the African Union, and And yeah, it's pretty much over for the African Union as French troops and Red Team troops start nearing in the capital, and before they can capture it, the leader of the African Union kills himself. And they weren't planning to do anything to him, but whatever. The French Union and the Red Team occupy the African Union, and yeah, goodbye African Union Empire, because it's gonna be gone in 3, 2, 1, and in this peace treaty we can see yeah, the African Union is gone. Kiss that thing goodbye, because it's likely never coming back. We see this Libyan team come back, a new pink Libyan team pop up here. Near these countries is and all of the countries that were invaded by the African Union restored, except for the terrorists in Sicily. These guys did not want those terrorists to come back, so they decided to change it into a new peaceful government. And there's this giant dark purple team carved up, and the reason that they didn't carve up the members of the Union specifically, except this maroon country, is because those countries would be too fragile on their own, so they thought, hey, let's just make one big one. And this gold team comes back, and the French Union and the red team decide to annex these areas. But they will get them back to the African Union eventually, but it's just gonna be part of them for now. So yeah, that's it for the African Union's conquests. And interestingly enough, we see the formation of a new alliance, the Circle Alliance. The French Union decided that it needed some protection and out there because it can't stand willy-nilly on its own. And the countries that are going to be joining this alliance are Moldavia, Russia, China, Manchuria is also going to be joining the Circle Alliance, and lastly, Vietnam. Those are all of the countries that are going to be joining up in the French team's military alliance. No other countries are going to be joining this. Hey, remember Ireland? Well, they have done nothing, and I mean nothing, ever since they existed. And they are thinking, I wonder if the Earth's spherical. Oh, because right now all of these guys think the Earth is flat. Well, Ireland have always believed that the Earth wasn't flat and that it was round. So they decided, you know what? Let's test this theory. Let's just explore out in the ocean. And that's what they do. They explore outwards. Some wind happens, some waves, and they just go. They discovered these islands. They used that as a hub, and they decide to keep going. They keep going, and they find this island. And well, it's not anything. And then some winds and turns. Whoa! Well, they make it to here, where America is discovered. And we will look more into this in the next episode. And that will do it for today's episode of What If Civilization Started Over. Please leave a like and subscribe, smash the notification bell, smash the subscribe and smash the like, and I'll see you on the flip side. Bye! Also, if you're wondering what this border looks different, I lost the original border to this. Okay, now officially bye.